Imagine this. You've been working for years, putting in the hours, making sacrifices, and finally starting to see some savings. But then one day, you realize your wealth hasn't grown as expected. It's even stalled. Somehow, despite doing things by the book, you find yourself barely moving forward. Hidden forces are eating away at your hard-earned money, draining potential growth right out of your pocket. These aren't just the obvious financial pitfalls. They're subtle, often ignored wealth killers that silently sabotage your financial success. These are the top 10 wealth killers that could be holding you back from true financial freedom. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to watch for and avoid, so your money can work for you, not against you. Make sure to like and subscribe for more financial information and strategies. It also helps the algorithm. Now, first up, let's tackle the hidden impact of neglecting health. Poor health can be a significant and unexpected financial drain that undermines all your wealth-building efforts. Healthcare costs are a leading cause of financial hardship, even bankruptcy, in the United States. According to a study from the American Journal of Public Health, about 66.5% of all bankruptcies are tied to medical issues, either due to high costs or time missed from work. Neglecting preventative health measures, ignoring routine checkups, or skipping out on exercise may seem like minor choices, but they add up in the long run. Health problems can force you to reduce work hours, cut back on career progression, or retire early, drastically impacting your wealth potential. Not to mention the cost of medical bills and treatments can wipe out years of savings in a heartbeat. Investing in your health now, whether it's through regular exercise, a nutritious diet, or preventative care, is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make. It not only helps you avoid costly medical bills down the road, but also ensures you have the energy and resilience to pursue wealth-building opportunities long-term. Then there's divorce, a wealth killer that has devastating effects on personal finances. Divorce doesn't just split assets. It often leaves both parties with lower net worth and higher expenses. Studies show that divorced individuals have, on average, 77% less wealth than married individuals. According to research published by the U.S. Government Accountability Office, women's household income falls by an average of 41% following a divorce, while men's declines by 23%. The financial impact of divorce can be so severe that it disrupts retirement savings, investment goals, and even housing stability. For those in relationships, maintaining open and honest communication about finances and considering legal protections like prenuptial agreements can go a long way in minimizing the financial risks of divorce. Working through issues and addressing financial goals as a team can not only strengthen your relationship but protect your wealth in the long term. Let's get into one that gets almost everyone at some point: lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is when, as your income rises, so do your expenses. You get a raise or a new job with a higher salary, and suddenly you're spending more. It could be upgrading your apartment, buying a new car, or dining at more expensive restaurants. But here's where it hurts. As your lifestyle inflates, your savings or investment contributions often stay the same or worse, decrease. According to a study by the Federal Reserve, about 40% of Americans making over $100,000 still live paycheck to paycheck, and much of this is due to lifestyle creep. To avoid falling into this trap, commit to saving or investing at least 50% of every raise you receive. This way, you reward yourself but don't let your expenses expand as quickly as your income. Redirect the increase toward investments, retirement, or a high-yield savings account, allowing your extra income to fuel your wealth building instead of just financing temporary luxuries. The next wealth killer is one that compounds over time if you're not careful: high-interest debt. And I'm not talking about all debt. Some debt, like a mortgage or student loan, can be a necessary step toward building wealth. But consumer debt, think credit cards, payday loans, and store financing, is a wealth killer that keeps millions trapped. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the average interest rate on credit cards is around 20%, meaning that a $5,000 credit card debt can grow to over $6,000 in just a year if you're only making minimum payments. That's a financial trap, not a minor setback. To counteract this, make a list of all your debts and rank them by interest rate, paying down the highest interest debt as quickly as possible. You might even consider consolidating debts to lower your interest rate. Eliminating high-interest debt is like closing a leak in your wealth-building bucket. Without it, you'll have more room to save, invest, and grow. Next, let's talk about inflation, a wealth killer that's harder to see but hits everyone's finances directly. Inflation is the general rise in prices, meaning your money buys less over time. This year alone, inflation rates have hit highs not seen in decades, with the US inflation rate reaching around 6 to 8% a few years ago. If you have cash sitting in a low-interest savings account, it's losing purchasing power every year due to inflation. Now, even with a modest 3% inflation rate, $1,000 today would only be worth about $740 in 10 years. The solution? Invest in assets that outpace inflation, like stocks, real estate, or certain bonds. A balanced investment portfolio can not only help preserve your purchasing power, but also grow your wealth over time. Putting all your savings into investments may seem risky, but in the long run, it's riskier to leave it exposed to the relentless erosion of inflation. One of the most overlooked wealth killers is fees. From banking fees to investment fees, these hidden costs can silently drain thousands of dollars from your accounts over time. Take mutual fund fees as an example. Many mutual funds charge a fee called an expense ratio, and while 1% might seem small, it can have a huge impact. According to Morningstar, a 1% expense ratio can reduce a $100,000 investment by nearly $30,000 over 20 years, simply because of compounded costs. Additionally, credit card fees, ATM charges, and account maintenance fees can eat away at your wealth over time. To avoid this trap, opt for low-fee or fee-free options wherever possible. Look for investment accounts with low expense ratios, fee-free banking options, and negotiate fees where possible. Every dollar saved in fees is a dollar added directly to your wealth. One wealth killer that often goes unnoticed is procrastination. This is one of the sneakiest because it doesn't involve spending or debt. It's about time. Waiting for the right time to invest or save may seem like a wise approach, but it's one of the biggest mistakes you can make in wealth building. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow thanks to compounding. Waiting even 5 years to start investing could mean a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time you retire. For example, if you invest $5,000 annually with an 8% return starting at age 25, you'll have about $1.3 million by 65. If you start 5 years later, you'd have about $900,000. Procrastination could cost you $400,000 simply due to lost compounding. The solution is to start with what you have now. Even if it's a small amount, starting today will put you miles ahead of waiting for the elusive perfect moment. Another silent wealth killer is lack of financial literacy. Many people make costly mistakes simply because they don't know better, not because they're bad with money. According to the National Financial Educators Council, financial illiteracy cost Americans over $415 billion in 2020 alone. Without a basic understanding of budgeting, investing, debt management, and retirement planning, people often find themselves making poor choices, like cashing out retirement funds early, maxing out credit cards, or missing out on tax deductions. The fix here is straightforward: educate yourself. With thousands of free resources available online, from articles to courses and podcasts, dedicating just a few hours each month to learning about personal finance can save you thousands in costly mistakes. Investing in your financial education is one of the highest return investments you'll ever make. A huge wealth killer is failing to diversify your income streams. Many people rely solely on one income source, typically their full-time job, and think that's sufficient. But having only one income source leaves you vulnerable to financial shocks, whether it's an economic downturn, layoffs, or even a change in the industry you work in. According to a survey by Bankrate, nearly 45% of Americans have a side hustle, and for good reason. Diversifying income streams provides a financial safety net and accelerates wealth building. By creating multiple streams of income through freelancing, a small business, rental properties, or investments, you reduce your reliance on a single paycheck and open up more pathways to build wealth. Even a modest side income can make a big difference over time, adding extra savings or investment potential to help you reach your financial goals faster. Don't wait for a job loss or financial setback to remind you of this. Start building your income streams now, and over time, they'll provide the financial security and flexibility that are essential for lasting wealth. Now, we arrive at the dangerous expectation of getting rich quick. This is one of the biggest traps because it's based on an unrealistic idea of wealth building. Many people start with high hopes, thinking they'll see huge returns in months or a couple of years. But true wealth building is a long-term game. The problem with these unrealistic expectations is that when quick results don't happen, people give up, thinking it's impossible. But wealth doesn't grow overnight. It requires consistent effort, discipline, and patience. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income and has been building wealth for decades, not months. Adjusting your expectations and setting long-term financial goals will help keep you on track and resilient through the ups and downs. But this whole video would be a waste of your time if you did not find out how to properly retain and save your money. With these 15 frugal living habits to build wealth on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.